You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. You know, one thing I hate about this program, every single time, there are days when everything's set up, everything's good to go, and then it just decides to act a fool on me. I hate it. I hate it. But anyway, that's not going to rain on my parade. I hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits. Like I always say, another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that, y'all. Let's not forget that. Anyway, we got some things we got to talk about. This is some crazy stuff. Okay, so we got some breaking news, and we got some other things that we got to talk about. There's other news that's going on in the world, so we definitely have got to talk about those things as well, because we have a lot popping off. Okay, so make sure to tune in, to stick around, because we got a lot of stuff. But we are going to get straight into the breaking news stuff first, just so you guys know. So please do me a favor. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, please hit that follow button, that like button, or that subscribe button over on those platforms, okay? Make sure you're subscribed here on my main channel, right here on YouTube. Go over to my second channel on YouTube. It's called The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well. Please and thank you. That would be greatly appreciated, all right? Hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random. And a lot of times it's breaking news. I'm trying to get to figure out a schedule, a solid schedule, but I'm working on it right now, okay? I'm working on it. I'm doing the best I can. Schedule, I'm experimenting. I'm trying to see what works and what doesn't. So don't worry. We're going to land on a time that's going to work for me and for everybody else, trust. But just ride with me for a little bit, okay? That's why you got to make sure that notification bell is set to all, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, okay? For at least for right now, okay? Anyway, hit that join button down below. Become a member, okay? Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com, okay? We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we have got to get into this conversation. Oh, my damn. Okay? Because it just doesn't stop. The hits just keep on coming. Now, I want you guys to know, we're still keeping an eye on the whole Diddy situation. And in fact, we ain't done with Diddy. Diddy is still being brought into this conversation. Okay? Yeah. For various reasons. But I want you guys to remember and take a trip down memory lane. Just about a few weeks ago, there was a huge stir at the Diddy trial. At Diddy's big racketeering and STing trial. What was that stir all about? Well, it's because Mr. Kanye West made an appearance at Diddy's trial. Now, I want to make this abundantly or very, very clear, all right? Kanye's been out here before the trial even started, and while the trial was going on. He made it very clear online that he was very much supportive of Diddy being free. He definitely was one of the only real people in the industry that was out here saying free Diddy. People weren't saying free Diddy until later, until he was acquitted on those big STing and racketeering charges. Just so you know, okay? Nobody really came out and said, oh, yeah, you know, they should have let that man free a long time ago. I'm glad my boy got out. They didn't say anything about that during the trial. They only said, yeah, that's what I thought, after he was acquitted of those big cases, okay, of those big charges. Remember that. I want y'all to remember that, because in the very beginning, everybody, it was mum's the word. No one said nothing. But then as soon as he got out, or not got out, but, you know, was acquitted of those charges, that's when everybody's like, yep, I told you he's the champ. You know what I'm saying? It's like those fair weather football fans that will sit there. They don't cheer for any team at all. I don't know what's going on with my camera, man. This is so frustrating. But you got, hold on. Hopefully it'll go back to normal here. There we go. Okay. We got it. We back. I don't know what's going on. It's been tripping like crazy. So just ride with me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the computer itself or the chip. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so if it does cut out every once in a while, don't worry. I'm still here, okay? Stick around. I'm just going to try to figure it out as we're live. But anyway, as I was saying, okay, there are people that were just like fair weather fans of football, right? That will sit there. They don't cheer for the Chiefs at all throughout the entire season. But when they get into the playoffs or when they get into Super Bowl, that's when they're cheering for them and being like, I knew that we're going to win. I was standing right there next to him the entire time, right? It's kind of the same thing with this whole thing with Kanye. I'm sorry, with Diddy being found not guilty on these big charges, right? Everybody and their mama started to come out saying, oh, yeah, I knew he was going to be acquitted. You know, free Diddy, right? The only person, one of the only people that stepped forward and said free Diddy from the jump is Kanye. And Kanye, so much, the stir that happened is him showing up to court to show up and give some support and solidarity for Diddy. Now, of course, that shocked a lot of people. But we already knew that Kanye West had already had his slew of issues. All right. He was already having his slew of problems way before Diddy was even thrown in the slammer. Okay. Now, let me just say this. Okay. Let me just say this. Kanye's in a world of trouble right now. Yes, I said it. Kanye is most definitely in a world of trouble right now. Because now we're hearing even more allegations from the same person that we talked about several months ago, last year to be exact. Now she is claiming not only just SA, but she's also claiming ST as well. Let me remind you, she said that he violated her, okay, with the mouth. And of course, put his hands on her in places that he should not have been putting his hands on. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Lauren Pisciotti, okay? I think that's how you say her name, all right? She came out a while back saying that he was sending her text messages, sending her DMs. She used to work for him as his personal assistant. But he would send her these crazy amounts of text messages saying that his penis is racist and all this kind of stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff, right? And how he was the quote unquote walking Me Too. I'm telling you right now, this man's screwed. The damn man be screwed. Okay? Now, he shows up to Diddy's trial. And I keep wondering why. Is it to show support or to see what it's like to be inside that courtroom when the feds are trying to take Diddy down? Because I feel like he's like, maybe this is coming to me too. Again, why would he show up? Just to show up and have solidarity? Or know that this is coming up? That he is in some serious trouble? Think about it for a second. Because we already knew about this lawsuit before. But now this woman's adding more information and saying that she was held against her will, that she was ST'd as well. So crazy, crazy stuff that's going on. And I'm telling you right now, we already knew this was going to happen. We knew that something was going to happen with Kanye because he goes in tandem, hand in hand, right next to Diddy. There are other allegations that have come out about how Diddy and Kanye cornered a specific singer, recording artist in a studio. And she had to basically fight her way out of the studio. While there were other girls that were plied with substances, allegedly slipped substances in their drinks unbeknownst to them in the studio, And that, of course, there were bodyguards standing around, security, actual security, standing around, watching this whole thing go down, and did nothing about it. Now, we've talked about this in the past. In fact, I have a whole video about that on my second channel. But of course, we're going to talk about it here, and we're going to be covering that as well today, too. Because again, Kanye is in some serious, serious trouble. Now, whether or not these women are telling the truth or not, I don't know. All I can say is we got to see how it plays out in court. He is innocent until proven guilty. But we also do know that there were allegations or stories about that Jane Doe that took the stand and testified, saying that she went to another freak off by a famous rapper, which was this guy. And his girlfriend, fiance, girlfriend, wife, fiance, girlfriend, they don't know what she is. They don't know the title. Some say it's his wife. Some say it's his girlfriend. Some say it's his fiance. It is what it is, right? But she flew out to Vegas to watch one of the guys that she's used to working with in her hotel nights for Diddy. She saw him at a freak off. Kanye West's own freak off with Bianca in the background, chilling, watching this whole thing go down, right? So as soon as you hear those names, or as soon as you hear the famous iconic rapper and his girlfriend, fiance, wife, fiance, girlfriend sitting right next to him, do the reverse math. You already know who that be, though. All right? So again, this is all very, very bad. And I knew, we even said it on the show, dag nabbit. I said it, and I'm going to say it again. Yeah, Anton. Anton was the one, mid-thrust. She's like, I know that guy. You know what I mean? In slow motion. Oh, my gosh. I know Anton. Right? I know him. As Kanye and Bianca are like, oh, so you know the other kind of guys who do this kind of stuff? Hey, you got any recommendations? You know what I mean? We need somebody who has a really good stroke game, right? And she gave out recommendations. Yes, he's good. Call this guy, right? Come on now. All right? Very weird. But as soon as you heard that testimony, I'm like, oh, snap. Oh, snap. Kanye gonna get into some trouble because now it's been exposed that he does his own version, okay? That he does his own version of these freak-a-leak freak-offs. This man's screwed. And there's already other allegations that have been coming out from other women as well that we have not talked about on this show, but we're going to talk about it here today. Again, his tweets alone show some very incriminating things. He is exposing his own self. And I guarantee you, if he's seeing the inside of a courtroom, they're going to use these tweets against him. You feel me? Not only just the anti-Semitic remarks that he's put out online. We're going to move all those over to the side. We're going to do this. Just push it over to the side real quick. Okay? We're going to push all those tweets aside because they're still damning and they're still deplorable. And no one should be putting that kind of stuff out there. Doesn't matter you white, black, Puerto Rican, Asian, polka dotted, purple, or green. You shouldn't be putting that kind of stuff out on the internets and especially on X. Okay? And then also, by the way, X has lost its rabid mind as well with AI going crazy, praising the funny mustache man and Holocaust. But that's a whole other conversation in itself. Okay? I don't know what the hell's going on X. The CEO had to step down. Real talk. She stepped down. Sorry for the tangent, but stepped down because of the anti-Semitic remarks that were being put on X. It's terrible. Terrible. Yeah, gamer lover. Yeah, look it up. Like apparently their AI just, I don't know, went rogue or some shnish. Okay, some weird. Okay. And Kanye West has been on there saying all kinds of crazy stuff. So they can literally use the tweets that he puts out online against him in court. Do you understand that? And if he's sitting there going, I'm a walking me too. Oh my God. Do you know how bad that is for him? It's bad. Ladies for Justice, yep, free speech can be used as evidence in a court of law. Okay? And it doesn't matter. He's tweeting this stuff. It's not like he's saying this in a rap song. And he's like, I was just playing a part. You feel me? I'm going to let you finish, but I was just playing a part on the song. No, he's putting this on tweets, guys. All right? Sending text messages to this Lauren Pisciotti person. Crazy stuff, by the way. Very damning stuff. We all know that Kanye is going through some things. Definitely not on his meds, and he has not been on his meds for a very, very long time. But at the same time, the stuff he's saying can really come back and bite him right in the booty. Okay? Let's get into this. So Kanye's former personal assistant is piling on more serious allegations against the rapper. Now she's accusing him of SA, along with a bunch of other horrible stuff, according to the new legal documents. So Lauren Pisciotta, sorry, it's Pisciotta, not Pisciotti, Pisciotta, all right, who originally sued who originally sued Ye in 2024 after he allegedly sent her vile texts and videos before firing her, filed a second amended complaint this week, claiming Kanye did a truckload of other bad things to her as well. She now accuses him of attacking her, battery, stalking, SB, ST, false imprisonment, and more. And of course, this is Lauren Pisciotta, okay? So she says during a business trip, they were staying at a hotel in San Francisco where they were breaking ground on Kanye's new school called Donda School, okay? And Kanye started making unwanted advances. Pisciotta says she tried to rebuff Kanye, but he kissed her on the mouth and asked questions about what her vajayjay looks like. She says she again tried to fend him off, but it was to no avail, claiming things took a dark turn at a writing session for a new album in his hotel suite. So Lauren says Kanye started doing things to himself, okay, but then put his hands on her down there before falling asleep mid-sentence as he was talking to her. So his swagger is very, very, very bad. So he's doing all this kind of stuff and he falls asleep on her. Yeah. Kanye then allegedly showed up to her hotel room and demanded that she let him use her shower before pushing his way through the door. Lauren says Kanye shoved her onto the bed, pinned her down, and he forced himself into her mouth. She says she begged and pleaded for Ye to stop and froze in shock and fear. She says he eventually stopped, apologized to her, and walked out of the room. Now, this is a tweet that he put out, just so you know, about her. Why did I never F Lauren Pisciotta? She smelled funny, and half of the NBA can attest to that. Yikes. He posted that online. You understand? This is bad. Here's the thing, though. If she's lying, she could still get him for defamation. She could still get him for that, slander, etc. Because you just going out here on your platform where you have millions of people who listen and watch and everything that you do, okay? Like real talk. People idolize Ye, okay? Or Ye. I don't know what he goes by now, okay? The artist formerly known as Kanye West, all right? Like, come on now. And then Nicole B said, how you know she smell funny? Well, apparently he's saying half of the NBA can attest to her smelling funny. Interesting, right? But you don't put that stuff out here. You're putting yourself in some serious trouble. Aside from that, let's not forget the SA that he's being alleged of doing. Okay? Let's not forget all that. Really, it's bad. And then they say, and get this. Lauren says Ye offered her an actual gift, or offered her as an actual gift, to someone in exchange for Ye having relations with that person's significant other. Come on now, this is bad. She says Ye notoriously offered women as actual gifts to men. Oh my God, he's cooked if this is true. By the way, in her First Amendment complaint filed in May, Pisciotta, Lauren, accused Kanye of applying her with substances at a studio session co-hosted by the Diddler. Okay, among other things. Now, of course, they reached out to Kanye, but I don't know if he's ever going to, honestly, he ain't coming back. There is no word back from him because Kanye gone. Okay, I really do miss the old Kanye. The younger Kanye. However you want to say it. Okay, he gone. He far gone. Okay, now let's be real. There's a lot of questions that I have. How would he know about putting together freak-offs of his own kind, okay, if he didn't already learn that from somebody? There's a possibility that he learned about these kinds of freak-offs from somebody else, kind of like the Diddler, right? So, like I said, this is a very bad situation for Kanye. The fact that this woman is claiming that he forced himself upon her, made her do things that she did not want to do, is very bad. Then on top of that, the fact that he has posts online that are really, 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 really bad, y'all. Like really bad. Not looking very good for him at all. Okay? Now, I want to show you what I mean. Okay. Let's take a look at this. This is just a little bit of a trip down memory lane. This happened in April, so just a few months ago. All right. So he disturbingly flaunts his alleged harassment of female employees in new tweets. So this is all going to come back and bite him in the butt. He name dropped Lauren Pisciotta, okay, a former employee who accused Yeezy, the Yeezy mogul, okay, of SH. So he has been on an all-out anti-industry crusade for years now, although recent months really flared things up in concerning ways. Whether it was his disdain for other rappers, his conflict with his family, or his dismissal of the dangers of misconduct, his latest rants leave no room for the benefit of the doubt. In fact, Ye's most recent Twitter or X tirade last night, which was in April, okay, April 10th, saw him address and allegedly admit to claims of SH against him. They're going to be able to use this stuff. This woman's going to walk away a very rich woman. I'm telling you right now. Okay. Unless he's got like the dream team. He might be calling up Agnafilio, okay, Agnafilo real soon because this is bad. This was all mocking the Me Too movement and alleged extortion. And the Chicago artist seemingly has no problem admitting to alleged wrongdoing, which to him is just a game. So I used to do this hug where I would press my C word, okay, his weed whacker, against the girl's leg and then place my hands right where my pinky can touch the top of her rear end. This is what he tweeted in a post. I'm a walking Me Too. Right here. I'm a walking me too. So he's admitting to pressing himself against women, putting his hands, okay? Let's be real. Real talk. Like, that's insane, right? That's not good. Then on top of it, he says, I'm a walking me too. Who says that? Oh my God. Okay. He added in another. Okay. That's what he said in another, which you can see more screenshots by click the link below, blah, blah, blah. Elsewhere, Ye ruined an apology after he said sorry to Jay-Z on social media, but made lewd comments about Beyonce shortly after. So his explicit tirade did not only target himself. Like I said, look at this. I broke my Me Too virginity. I told her she looked perfect. Whatever the hell he's doing there. What the hell? Okay. I told her she looked perfect. Note to self, never take your hoodie off while driving. What? Should I be paid to be on Twitter? Just because I'm a multi-billionaire doesn't mean I shouldn't be paid for my cultural service. No way this could end well. I agree. That's the only tweet so far that I agree with. Okay. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't drive and take off your hoodie while driving. I'll agree with that too. But real talk, this is probably the realest tweet he's put out in years, to be really honest. Okay. But again, these are all not very good tweets. Okay. I'm a big time perv. He ain't rich enough to have you. Got that one from Justin LeBoy. Now, look, this is him writing this stuff. Don't hate when a girl me too's you and forgets to claim R until the third time. Sometimes I think, wow, I have a R allegation. Life is funny like that. When people have cancer for a long time, don't you feel relieved when they finally pass away? What the hell? I know they do. Like, I think he thinks he's a comedian. I think he's expecting, like, when people have cancer for a long time, don't you feel relieved when they finally pass away? I know I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this? Clearly, this dude is off his rocker. Okay? This is a deeply, deeply disturbed individual. And the fact that he's out here, okay? The fact that he did, y'all, he gone, y'all. And he gonna be gone in prison if they're able to file some criminal charges against this dude. He's in serious trouble. For those unaware, Kanye faces various sexual misconduct claims, none of which have clear follow-up timelines or recent developments that take things beyond the accusatory realm. Now, Lauren Pisciotta has filed she has put out this lawsuit and is claiming that she was not only SA'd, but also ST'd and also false imprisonment, etc. This is all bad. And the fact that she was passed on to have relations with somebody else for Kanye is bad. Oh, I'm going to give you her so you can smash her while I smash your wife. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to have her come over. You guys are going to do your thing. And while you guys are doing your thing, I'm going to do my thing with your wife. Cool? Look at her. She's gorgeous. Imagine her naked. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. But I want to smash your girl, though. So let's just do a quick, a quick trade. And let's not forget the text messages and stuff that he was sending to this girl. He was saying some crazy, crazy stuff back in the day. Okay? Another lawsuit from model Jennifer Ahn claims the Yeezy mogul actually attacked her back in 2010, whereas other allegations are more recent. Considering his frequently lewd comments, some people are inclined to believe these allegations. Yeah, I feel like we're all wondering and believing or going, wait a second. Because he's not sitting there going like, I'm innocent. What the hell's wrong with y'all? I'm innocent, innocent, innocent. He's like, nah, I'm a walking me too. That's crazy, right? He did say this, though. I want to pull this up one more time. He said this. I think he said, don't hate when a girl me too's you and forgets to claim R until the third time. I mean, obviously sounds to me like he's trying to be sarcastic there. So it could be him being like, hey, I'm innocent there, but he's not really saying that. He just keeps saying crazy stuff online. And Bianca, of all people, oh, baby Bianca, please take his phone away. Stop it. He is ruining himself. Let's be real. There is a strong possibility he is innocent. There's a strong possibility he is absolutely 110% innocent, but somebody's taking advantage of him slipping. He has these spells and it's not even spells anymore. This is just his mind now. He's far gone. He's not on any kind of medication. He's not getting the proper help from professionals or anything of that sort. He is running out there free as a bird. He has spun off this planet like Gary Busey. Okay? He gone. His mind is somewhere else. All right? And no one's there to try to tether and pull him back down to earth. And of course, there are people out here that are looking at him like a walking lawsuit, an easy win in a lawsuit. Think about that for a second. Think about that. Let me be real too. His mind could be so gone that he could literally be doing these things too. He could literally be doing all these things thinking it's totally fine because he's Kanye West. You still got to look at both sides of the situation here. He could be lying. Okay? He could be lying right now. And he could very well be guilty of doing these things, or his mind is so gone that he just wants to keep, he's just trolling. Worse than 50 Cent, okay? Worse than 50 Cent. This is too far. But he doesn't know in his own mind that he's not supposed to be saying these things online, period. And all these people are seeing this as a moment, a big, huge window of weakness that they can jump in and just start nuking with lawsuits like crazy. Yeah, he touched me. Yeah, he did this. Yeah, he did that. No. See what I'm saying? He is a walking lawsuit. Literally. If not me, but if someone was diabolical, real talk, trying to do some serious nasty work out here, they could see this as an opportunity. Man, he's so far gone, they'll believe me before they believe him because of how far gone he is. Ain't nobody handling him. Ain't nobody holding him down. Ain't nobody making sure that he's safe. Ain't nobody putting him on meds and making him talk to professionals. No, they're letting him run free. Born free. You know what I mean? He's just running through the wildest field we've ever seen. And he's spinning around like the sound of music, okay? The big ass field, having a great time. And that's what's in his mind, right? Everything's great. The hills are alive. You know what I mean? He's out there just low. You know what I mean? Gone. And somebody else is seeing that and going, ooh, I can make some money here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm seeing. Possibly. Or he is so far gone, he doesn't know what is right and what is wrong anymore. Let's be real. If the freak-offs are actually happening, if he's doing his own version of freak-offs, come on now. Come on now. Still a possibility that he could be like, hey, I'm Kanye. I could do whatever the hell I want. He is got that God complex, maybe. Come on, he calls himself Yeezus, y'all. Come on, he calls himself Yeezus. So what are the chances, right? Like I said, I'm exercising both sides because I know both sides are in the chat. I know both sides feel some type of way about this. Some people say, hey, throw him in a cell and throw away the key, lock him up and throw away the key. And some others are like, yeah, man, they lying, man. Just let this man get the right, proper help he needs and set him free. And that's what sucks about this, because both are very possible. He's very vulnerable right now. He is a walking lawsuit waiting to happen. Well, already happening, right? And anyone can sit there and go, he lost his damn marbles. He is gone. So, and you see him saying all this anti-Semitic remarks and doing songs called HH. I'm not even going to say it, and don't say it in the chat. You will get deleted. Okay? But it's all about the funny mustache man. A song about that. Like I said, people could look at that and go, yeah, let me grab that bag real quick. No, let me get this bag. Right? Especially personal assistants that may have bumped uglies with him in the past and have a slew of emails and text messages from his self, who is definitely gone off the mother-loving planet. They're going to use all of that and go, see? Do you see how unhinged and crazy he is? And he's done crazy things to me too. That's still a possibility. Or this is truly what happened to this woman. And that is it. You know, one thing I think is very interesting is that we haven't heard anything from Bianca. Okay? We haven't heard not one thing from Bianca. Why? We don't hear anything from her. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that she's a prisoner in her own relationship. I don't really know. I don't know. But it is very weird that she's out here and we don't hear nothing except her parading around just butt ass naked. Okay? Just backs, boobies, and booty holes just out for everybody to see. And we don't have to, and we just sit there and just go, oh my God, it's a travesty. But we don't ever ask, like, what's really going on with her though? Not once do we ever do that. Now, do we? But she is also his girl, wife, whatever you want to call her. She has a responsibility here too to take care of this man too. Where is the care? Where? I'd like to know. Okay? Something about this just does not make any sense. And the fact that he's going out here, and let me just show you this too. Again, the Gen On, okay? Suing Kanye. We just talking about Diddy for so damn long. So used to saying Diddy. But suing Kanye for SA, okay? Now, it says here, she accused him of putting his hands around her neck, jamming his fingers down her throat, and yelling, "This is art. I'm like Picasso." And that was filed, or at least this article was put out, in November 23rd of 2024. Yeah. He said, "This is art. I'm like Picasso," allegedly. Okay, let's take a look at this. So, America's Next Top Model alum. So she's been on TV in that show. Gen On, and this is what she looks like right here. Gen On. All right. She's suing Kanye for allegedly attacking her by putting his hands around her neck and then, of course, jamming his fingers down her throat during the filming of a music video in 2010. Now, if this is true, I would hope that they have dailies, which is the footage of this music video shoot where he actually did this. If this was caught on film of him just doing this and like that, I hope it was caught on film, because if it was caught on film, that backs her story, right? The lawsuit filed in New York federal court on Friday, November 22nd. The model accused the rapper of 47 of staging his own production by asking a camera crew to film him putting his hands around her neck during the filming of a music video for LaRoe's song "In for the Kill," in which featured Kanye on the remix. So the lawsuit states that On was working as a background actress for the music video at New York City's Chelsea Hotel in September of 2010, and was wearing only, quote unquote, revealing lingerie when Kanye pointed her out to the crew and said, "Give me that Asian girl." On claimed that she told West, "I'm not wearing very much." And he allegedly replied, "That's why I chose you." And she recalled him ordering the other background actors to leave the room. The model and actress alleged that West was allegedly, who legally, well, we already know about him, changed his name to Ye, okay, was quote unquote towering over her and breathing heavily when he suddenly asked the camera crew to get a close up of her face and used a gyrating hand to quote unquote emulate forced top on her. Okay. On camera, defendant West began to choke the plaintiff with one hand. He then wrapped his other hand around her neck and continued to tighten, let's just say that, with both hands. The suit alleged, per Rolling Stone, he then rammed several fingers down her throat, continuously moved them in and out, and gagged her for more than a minute. Now, if this is actually true, and this was during an actual music video shoot, I hope they have some footage of this. Because again, if they shot that, then that exists, and that could come back to bite Kanye in the butt so freaking hard, okay? And also claim that the rapper screamed, "This is art. This is effing art. I'm like Picasso," as he was doing this to her in quote unquote a manner similar to spicy stuff that you see in other kind of spicy content. Plaintiff struggled to breathe and felt as if she had temporarily blacked out. When the defendant West decided that he was finished with the plaintiff, her face was covered in saliva and smeared makeup. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Okay, so they're literally in this situation. They're shooting this music video, and he's sitting there saying out loud, he was screaming, "This is art. This is effing art. I'm like Picasso," while he's doing this stuff to this woman's face, basically. All right, for lack of a better term. Now, if this is actually true, and they were filming this, Kanye screwed. Let's not forget all the tweets that he put out and all that stuff as well. Yeah, it's gross, y'all. It's nasty. Okay? Now, whatever, do whatever you do behind closed doors, it's up to you, you know what I mean? Whatever, you know what I mean? As long as it's legal and consensual, damn it. Okay? But at the same time, this is nasty. Okay? You don't know this girl from a can of paint. You're like, "Come here." And you do all this stuff, and then you're going, you know what I mean? Yeah, some BDSM stuff, man. This is some crazy stuff, y'all. Okay? It's crazy. So, UMG, the Universal Music Group, is also named as a co-defendant in the case, as On, the model, alleged that the company, quote unquote, failed to investigate the actual incident. The lawsuit stated that West's, quote unquote, gendered, hateful, and abusive controversies were a brand, which was too profitable for defendant Universal Music to intervene, despite his unlawful conduct. No matter what, this should not be allowed. This is not right. And the fact that you got Universal Music Group being alleged of turning a blind eye to this situation, because it's just Kanye. Kanye does a lot of stuff to he's bombastic. He's controversial, and that's what we like, and that's what the people like. He causes a stir. He causes people to talk. So we don't step in unless we really have to. But all he's doing is creating controversy, and we love it. It's all good. It's Kanye. What are you talking about? This is expected. In fact, this is how we make more money, with his controversies. So let's go. Sad. If this is real, this is sad. I don't think this woman's making this one up. I'm going to keep it a bean. I really don't think that this woman's making it up. I truly think that this situation truly did happen. I truly believe that. in my hort of horts. Now, here's the thing. You already have Kanye in a whole bunch of problems. He's already had his fair share of problems that are slowly stacking up. Now, it's only a matter of time where the feds start looking in his direction. Now you got Pascal, okay? You got her now claiming that she was ST'd, SA'd, held against her will, traded, sent over to go have relations with somebody else so that he can go have relations with that guy's woman. Very bad things here, guys. Very, very bad things. And wait for it, because it's only going to get worse. Same thing with the Tyler Perry situation, which, of course, we haven't really tapped into yet. We will eventually, okay? Every time I want to get into it, something else happens, and I can't get on and tell you guys about it. But I'm telling you right now, even with the Tyler Perry stuff, this is all just percolating. It's at a low boil, but everything's about to turn all the way up here very, very soon. Diddy has already had his time in court. He was exonerated on those major charges. So now the focus is going to turn. It's going to shift. And I'm not sitting here saying the feds are going to be going after Tyler Perry. Not yet, at least. But they definitely going to be looking at Kanye West now because of the things that were being mentioned in that trial, in Diddy's trial. And I think that's the other reason why Kanye West showed up, because he's watching things online. He's seeing what people are talking about, because online, let's be real, that's where the new media is. So all he has to do is hop on to TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube and find out the information and what's happening. People are going, oh, snap. Jane Doe talked about flying in a private jet to Vegas with another big named rap artist. He's an icon. He's got a girlfriend / wife that was with him watching another freak off with a person that Jane Doe's used to doing freak offs with. You see all that? And people are talking about that online? He gonna show up. Because he's, loco. Cabron. Loco. Right? So what do you think? Of course he's gonna show up. Because in his mind, he's like, well, if I show up, maybe they'll shut up. Maybe they won't say my name. Or he's like, oh, they talking about me. What are they talking about in there? Okay. Now, again, very, very interesting stuff here. Nonetheless. Now, there are a few other things that we need to talk about. This is something that I think is very interesting. Kanye is in some serious trouble. Let's just be real. Kanye is in some serious trouble because not only is he off his rocker, and I wish he would get the help that he rightfully needs and he rightfully deserves, but he obviously has an insatiable, spicy appetite that is not satiated by just one woman. Same thing like Diddy, right? And you know for a fact that Kanye is on all kinds of other medication or all kinds of other substances that are not medication that he should be using and taking for his mental ailments. Let's be real. Okay? Yeah, and then let's not forget that too. Yes, let's not forget the mans. Let's not forget the mans as well, okay? Because Kanye apparently has a hankering for hogs as well. So again, anything's possible in this world. All right, but I think something is up for sure. Let me get some of these chats here. Pascal, do you think his insanity, quote unquote, makes him unable to be accountable for those actions? No, I think he should be held accountable for those things. Because let's be real. Do you think an insanity plea would suffice in court? Think about that for a second. Oh, he's just crazy. That's why he's putting his weed whacking in places he shouldn't be weed whacking. Like, I just don't think that would suffice in the general public. I already know that there's going to be somebody out there going like, leave him alone. Yeah, he is crazy. Just give him his meds and just, you know what I mean? But I'm telling you right now, oh yeah, he crazy. So that's why he's been putting his hands on people. That doesn't suffice on all the other people that have done crazy amounts of SA or R out here. What about these serial R's and serial, monsters? You know what I mean? Oh, they're just crazy. No, they still get locked up, baby. They still are held accountable for the things that they did. So no, I don't see that happening anytime soon. Okay. And again, this could be a very, very slippery slope, lathered in baby oil and Astroglide too, when it comes to this Lauren Piscota situation. Because with the next top model girl, Jen An, okay, she was sitting there, and then he put his hands on her and he did what he did, allegedly, right? This was then, of course, she was willing to be a part of the music video. She was willing to be to act in that scene, but she didn't know what he was going to do. And then he started doing these things to her that she wasn't cool with. With Lauren Piscota, though, I feel that this is going to be a little bit different. And I feel like this is going to be more like a Cassie or a Jane Doe situation, where in the very beginning, maybe she was cool with, doing some things with him, whatever, because he is Kanye West. All right. But then changed her mind later on because she wasn't cool with it. It could very well be that situation. Okay. Because I don't think every single moment that she had with Kanye, if it was in a spicy way, I don't think all of it was, I don't think every single last one of them was not or was consensual. Right. I don't think every single, I don't think every single one was consensual. That's what I'm trying to say, right? And I think that it could be the same situation where in the beginning she was cool with it, but then he just went overboard. And she's like, yo, bro, but a different type of situation where she's like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore with you, man. Like, what the hell? The one time was enough. You crazy. That could be it, right? Yeah, it could have started consensual, and then Kanye started showing the real side of Kanye, and she's like, oh my God, what are you doing? No, I'm good. No, I don't want anything to do with this. No, right? Because he's sitting there going, I think my penis is racist. You know what I'm saying? He literally said that, guys. I don't like white girls with big asses. I don't know. My thing only stands at salute for white girls with black asses. That's what he said in the text. Then sent her all kinds of screenshots from other Instagram models and all that stuff, being like, yeah, I hit that, and oh, that's crazy, and blah, blah, blah. Like, he was saying all this stuff to her. You know what I mean? That's crazy. At some point, you're not going, ooh, sexy. You're just going, oh no. Oh no. Oh, this is getting scary now. No, thank you. Okay? He really was saying these things, y'all. We went through the whole lawsuit, okay? When it first dropped. He made himself look like Boo-Boo, the mother-loving fool, okay? Looking like a damn fool with his pants on the ground. Literally his pants on the ground, okay? Looking like a damn fool, okay? Elizabeth, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Chakila, thank you so much for the love and the super sticker. Thank you so very much. But yeah, like I said, come on now. He out here, pants on the ground, looking like a damn fool. All right, looking really, really bad. Now, here's the thing. Somebody just send this to me, so it's a little bit of a break. We do have some Diddy talk we have to do, okay? Because this is in connection to Kanye and all that. But I do want to share this video. This is from Inner City Press, and thank you guys so much for sending it my way. It says, for Sean Combs' sentencing, judge asks for precedence. So I want to know what's going on here too. So let's take a look at this, because I don't know about this. This is new to me. So let's just take a look at this really, really quick, okay? Of course, do not forget to hit the like button down below, please and thank you. Crush it, okay? Hit the like button, hit it, please and thank you. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. We talk about a lot of things on this platform, on this channel, and we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be blazing through a lot here very, very shortly, so let's get into it.
Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Thursday, July 10th, 2025. Now, once believe it or not, there is yet more news on the U.S. versus Sean Combs front. Yesterday, Judge Subramanian docketed an order to both sides to provide him with not argument, but a list of cases in which defendants have been convicted under the Mann Act without prior convictions, basically wanting to know what the precedents are. Of course, the government is going to be arguing that relevant conduct should come in, and the defense is going to be saying no and citing a Supreme Court recent decision about acquitted conduct not coming in. Now, the question is some of this conduct not actually acquitted, but simply out there and in the ether? We'll find out as it moves along. Now, ironically, yesterday we went to cover a civil case not against Sean Combs, of which there are many of which are being pushed back, but we'll have more on that anon. But against L.A. Reid. Yes, L.A. Reid. Drew Dixon sued him in 2023 here in the SDNY. And he's changed lawyers a couple of times. And yesterday, his new defense or current defense lawyer, who's trying to get released from the case, came to court in front of Judge Vargas, who also has the Drake versus UMG case. So she kind of has something kind of a music portfolio of cases. And L.A. Reid's lawyer said he's not paying. In fact, he changed his phone number, and they were unable to speak to their client, L.A. Reid. The prosecution, it's Boyce Schiller Flexner, who do a lot of these cases. They did a lot of the Epstein cases, and they're for Drew Dixon. They've been banging away. They're pretty effective. They have a lot of capabilities. They may be winning this one by default because Judge Vargas said the current firm has to finish discovery.
Okay. So, of course, he just talked about them. The judge is asking for precedents. And here's the thing. I also heard a rumor that they were saying that they were saying that they're still trying to push for his sentencing to be in September sometime, in early September. But I have yet to see anything saying otherwise. There's people who are saying, oh, maybe they're trying to push for an earlier date still, but I have yet to see anything about that, just so you know. So, of course, they're still talking about sentencing. They're still, of course, going to be bringing up paperwork and bringing up all that stuff for Diddy. And again, a lot of it, okay? A lot of it is still pending. But, of course, when we get more of a solid decision on that, I will definitely let you guys know about all that. But here's the thing, guys. There is something else that we need to talk about, okay? Which is, we've talked about this in the past, but I don't think a lot of y'all know about this. Like I said, in the very beginning of the Diddy allegations and all the stuff that was going on, there was a girl that came out and spoke out about this, her experience with Diddy. But also, let's not forget her experience with Kanye West as well. Now, I want to take us down a little trip down memory lane because I know some of you guys don't know about this. Maybe some of you guys do. Maybe some of you guys don't. And here's the thing. What's really sad about this is that this girl was saying that she was 19 years old at the time. She was in a studio with Kanye West and Diddy. Apparently, Diddy and Kanye West were clearly on some stuff. Like they were just zooted, okay? Completely gone, all right? And she was there with her manager. She and her manager had drinks in their hands. Now, she claims, this girl, Nikki, okay, her name, she goes by Nikki Heaton, okay? She, at the time, she said, I don't drink, okay? I don't drink. I don't do any of that stuff. So I wasn't drinking the drink. But her manager was drinking the drink, and she watched and saw how her manager slowly became under the influence of some sort of substance. She later on says that she wasn't drinking it. She got scared. She stood up, and Kanye and Diddy were basically kind of like moving towards her, grabbing at her clothes, trying to rip these clothes off of her body. By the grace of God, she says that she was able to kind of lunge at them. They kind of like moved, they kind of reacted to her lunging towards them, right? And then she opened up the door and she ran away. All right. Now, this is a very, very sad and messed up situation that involves Diddy and Kanye. Here's the thing. We already know that Kanye has been very supportive, at least out here in these internet streets, of championing for Diddy's release because he believes Diddy is innocent, that he should be freed, right? And there's a lot of reasons why I think some people are wondering why he would be so supportive, coming out and saying free Diddy. And it may be because of things like this. Now, I don't know where this girl is. This was posted about a year or two ago or something like that. And I remember talking about it in the past. But we never, like, especially now when you start hearing about these allegations towards Kanye West and the fact that he showed up to the trial for Diddy and all that, it does make you wonder. And then also on top of that, the fact that he has his own versions of freak offs as well, it does make you wonder what's up with this, right? What's up with this? And could this story told by Nikki Heaton, could this story actually be 110% true? Now, of course, I do have a few questions about her as well. And of course, I'm going to jump ahead in this video because, and I'm going to speed it up most likely. But there is something about this, about what she's talking about, that does make you wonder. Did she ever file any lawsuits? Did she, and did it get settled outside of court? Did the feds ever call her up and ask to sit down with her to talk about this experience that she had? Especially near the end when she talks about these bodyguards just watching her, begging them to their face to help her. And they do nothing about it. They just go back into their phones and ignore what's actually being on display in front of them inside that studio where Diddy and Kanye West allegedly are cornering this woman, 19-year-old woman at the time. It's insane, y'all. And it does make you wonder, is this 110% true? And has there ever been any follow-up to this actual story? Like I said, I'm dropping in the middle of the video just so you guys know. But we need to take a look at this because this is insane.
Don't shoot the messenger. That's what they call them. Women who show up to the studio in their full club outfit at the studio. It's like they're only there for one reason. They want to leave.
By the way, sorry, because I just dropped this in the middle of nowhere. But I want to let you know, she was saying, oh, yeah, he was in a room with a bunch of, and she was calling them studio. I'm just gonna let her say what she says, okay? But she was calling them 304s. She's like, oh, there were studio 304s in the room. She's like, I'm sorry, but that's what they call them. Okay, but here it is.
And there's 9 other women there. And don't kill me for this, because this is what they call them. There were 9 studio hoes there. Like, I'm all about women's rights, do whatever you want to do, but don't shoot the messenger. That's what they call them. Women who show up to the studio in their full club outfit at the studio. It's like they're only there for one reason. They want to leave with someone who's there. They're called studio hoes. That's just what they're called. And there are 9 women there. And we're like, that's weird. I thought we were here to work on music, and like we were invited. Like I was invited as an artist and my manager. So I'm wearing like fucking XXL sweatpants and like a giant hoodie. I look like a fucking slob, and like my manager's there in her usual suit, like black leggings, black zip up. Like we're just like, this is strange, but okay. And we walk in, and there's all these ladies there wearing their club gear, and Kanye and Diddy are already like out of their fucking mind, just like completely fucked up, drunk, but probably something else. And we're like, okay, but like we were invited as artists. Like maybe these girls are gonna leave and we're gonna work on music. Like let's just walk in and just Immediately, I felt like there was something weird because there's always drinks. There's always the vodka and the mixers just like sitting on the table. But we walk in and immediately, and Diddy hands me a drink. Kanye hands Lauren a drink, and we're like, that's weird. Why are they serving us? And I don't like to drink. I don't like alcohol. I don't like the way that it like makes me feel. It makes me feel sick. So. But my manager, since the beginning, she was just like, I know you don't like to drink, but if someone famous hands you something to drink, even if you don't want it, just like hold it and like pretend because you don't want to seem rude. And I was like, okay. And it was like a vodka cranberry. And I was like, oh, gross. And so I'm just standing there with my back against the console, just like pretending to sip this drink. And I'm like, I'm not fucking drinking this. This is gross. And my manager was sitting across on this couch with Kanye's cousin, and then the other girls were sitting next to her. And immediately I was like, there's something fucking wrong. Like, I couldn't explain it. I didn't know what to do. But I just like felt that there was something not right. But I didn't fucking know what to do. I was 19 years old, like just left home a year ago, new in the industry. Yeah, I didn't know what to do, but I knew that there was something wrong, basically. And I was standing there pretending to sip this drink, and my manager was sitting across from me. And, you know, if you know about like my past and like us being together, like she's very much reserved. And people would always say like, oh, she's such a bitch. She has like a resting bitch face. And it's because she has like severe like social anxiety. Like she just wants to like sit in the corner and like tap on her phone and like not talk to anyone. So she's not a bitch. She's just very shy. And I see her across the room holding her drink. And it was weird because I noticed as I was standing there, just like wondering what's going on, Diddy kept looking at me and Kanye kept looking at Laura, and like they were exchanging glances. And I'm like, they were like watching me strangely. I'm like, okay, let me pretend to drink. And like, I'm not actually doing it. And like that seemed to like make them happy, like me like pretending to like to join in. And immediately I'm like, there's something fucking in this drink. There's something in this drink. And I didn't know what to do. And I like, my manager was like across the room, but like close enough, but like not next to me. So I couldn't like whisper to her, but I wanted to tell her, I'm like, hey, don't fucking drink this. There's something wrong with this. But I couldn't. So I reached for my phone and I start to type, and Kanye takes the phone out of my hand and he's like, who are you texting? Like, you don't need to text anyone. Like, we're having a party. And I was like, okay. And he like puts it on one of the speakers, and I'm like, fuck, now what do I do? Like, I don't know what to do. And I see my manager take a sip, and I'm like, fuck. Now what do I do? And then I see her take another sip, 2 sips out of this little vodka cranberry cup. And I'm like, oh, what do I do? 2 sips, and I watch her face flush. And all of a sudden, like I look over and she's speaking really loud and like making jokes. And I'm like, whoa, like this isn't her. Like she doesn't make jokes. She's fucking terrified of people. Like she doesn't even talk. And I was like, it's already hitting her. Like 100%. I just knew that the drinks were all laced with something. And she starts like almost being like belligerent a little bit, but not in like a crazy way, just like really enjoying herself. And I'm like, that's not her. That's not her. She doesn't even want to be here. Like, this is weird. And all of a sudden she like dismisses the studio host. Like, she's like, you can leave. And I'm like, oh my God, like what's going on? And the girls file out. They go to like a different studio, or they go somewhere. And I'm like, I have to do something. I have to do something. What do I do? And I go to get my phone where Kanye put it on one of the speakers. And as I'm going to get it, I turn and my manager's walking out. And I'm like, no. Like, where are you going? I'm already seeing people being like, this is cap. What do I have to gain? Let me just ask you, what do I have to gain? I'm in a fucking farm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not in the industry anymore. I'm not filing a lawsuit, so I'm not getting paid.
The only thing I will say is this, okay? Yeah, I will be real. I wish she dressed a little bit differently for this specific video, because I can see how some people can look at this and go, you know, are you really dressing this way because this is just how you dress every single day, or are you dressing this way because you know it's going to get some views, you know people are going to look at you and they're going to want to look you up, and you look this way. You know, she's not an ugly woman, okay? And she also says that she left the industry, and from my understanding, she's still, you know, I would say she's still a Instagram model or something of that sort. She's still promoting herself out here. I mean, she's still making content online, so she's not really leaving the industry. With all due respect, I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not trying to shame anybody or anything like that. But on a real tip, I feel some type of way about what she's wearing in this for sure, but it does not deter the story that she's saying, right? Is this true? Right? Yeah, I get it. Everybody's like, oh, you know, I'm looking at her, you know, I'm looking down there, you know, I'm too busy looking down there. And it's like, well, what is she saying though? She's really saying something real, right? She's really saying something serious. Let's just say that. Is it real? That's still up to the court of public opinion, right? But nonetheless, she's saying these things. Yeah, I get it. You know, she's dressed in a way that would make, you know, the people out, some guys out there going, what's her at? You know what I mean? Where can I find her, bruh? You know what I mean? What's her name? Some people are crazy like that, right? But she still has an account. She still has content. It's not like she just lives off the fat of the land in a farm somewhere, okay? She doesn't. So I could see the pushback on this. I do. I can see it. I wish she wore a hoodie. I'm going to be real. Okay. And hair up messy in a bun or something like that. But it is what it is. You know, she's telling this story. It could very well be true. And maybe she just didn't want to look all messed up and drove on camera when she told the story. But yeah, I kind of wish she just threw on a hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like everybody's just going, oh, I'm looking down there. See, now this girl, she just one of them studio hoes too. You know what I'm saying? See, look how she dressing. And then some people are crazy enough to be like, oh, she was asking for it. Look how she's dressed. That's insane too. You know what I mean? That's insane. But we got to hear the story. We got to hear what she's saying, right? Because these are serious allegations and it's terrifying. Again, if this is true.
I'm not looking for clout because who gives a fuck about me? So why would I lie about this? This has been 9.5 years since this happened to me. Why would I? Let me go on. Whatever. Yeah, so I see her start to leave. And I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, it's fine. I'm just going to the bathroom. And I was like, no, stay. And she's like, it's right there. I'm just going to go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay. And she walks out. And all of a sudden, I realize that I'm in the studio. The music's low. The lights are dim, but you can still see everything. And I realize that I'm in the studio with Diddy and Kanye, and they're both off their shit. And there's 3 other men, an executive that works with Kanye, his engineer, and his cousin, and me, alone. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. And I haven't started freaking out yet. I know what the situation is. I know, I know this is a bad place to be in, but I don't really feel scared yet, because I'm like, there's other people around, there's other men around, and I know them. I've known them for a while, nothing bad's gonna happen. And I'm standing there and I realize that so this is a pretty sizable studio. There's the glass doors, the couch there, a console, another console, the screen, all of that. But it's pretty big, but you can still see and talk to everyone easily. And I realize that I'm standing really close to the exit, and it's a glass door and it opens in. And I'm standing pretty close to it. And I realized all of a sudden that Kanye and Diddy have realized that I'm the only girl in the room. And they're fucked out of their minds. And they start coming towards me and they're like, don't you want to take your clothes off? It's so hot in here. And I'm like, no, fine. I'm fine like this. And they're like, come on, it's just us. We're all just friends. Let us just see how you look. And I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And I still haven't gotten scared yet, I'm still this is a bad situation. I'm creeped out, but there's no reason to panic. There's other men here. Hold on a second.
Skipping ahead.
I'm at the.
Now, real quick, I wanted to pull this up. And Tish got a good question, though, too. If it were a man wearing swim trunks telling this story, would people be saying he asked for it, too? That's a damn good question. That's a damn good question. There's plenty of dudes, all, beefed up and, definitely hasn't missed a meal or a push up in the last damn 10 years, right? Looking all, whatever. Maybe a type that Diddy would like, okay? A hankering for hogs, right? Same thing. Good question, right? If it was a guy wearing, he's super fit, looking like Tyson Beckford or something crazy like that, would it be the same thing, right? You know what I mean? Would it be the same reaction? Isn't it the whole, aren't girls crazy about the gray sweatpants? What if he was sitting there just gray sweatpants, just you could see the imprint and everything? You know what I mean? Telling the story. Would you take it seriously, or you guys would just be salivating in the mouth? You know what I'm saying? Something to think about. But I feel like it would be the same reaction. It'd be like, yo, come on now. I feel like some people would be like, come on, look how he's dressed and he's telling this story, and then you look at his Instagram or you look at his stuff, you know what I mean? I can see people side-eyeing, right? I can see people side-eyeing this ish, right? If the shoe was on the other foot, if this was a man instead of a woman, absolutely. Girls would be like, yeah, say whatever you want to say, penis. I mean, man, say whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. I'm struggling because I keep wanting to look down. I can't help it. Same thing with the dudes. I can't help. I'm trying to. My whole head is looking down, but my eyes are up because I'm trying to keep looking up at your face, girl, but I'm too busy looking down at them chesticles. Damn. You see what I'm saying? Be the same exact reaction. Trust. And he'd be like, stop with the mess. Dude is just trying to get attention. Look at his Instagram looking all good and stuff. Clearly he a model. He's just trying to get attention, okay? Put a shirt on, man. You see what I'm saying? Get a baklava or whatever it's called. Baklava, whatever the hell it is. Cover your damn face. Or put on a really baggy hoodie so we don't see no muscles, okay? And then tell your story. Same thing, right? It's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay? Just saying. So, I put a question in the poll. Let me know what your thoughts are, okay? I'm just saying it'll be the same reaction. All right? Be the same reaction. I feel. I do.
Point where I'm like, this is not good, but I'm like still trying to like play it off. Just like, stop, you guys are fucking stupid. Like, get out of here. Like, don't touch me. Like a little bit scared. Did this just freeze?
Yeah, it did.
I'm still not completely terrified yet, but I'm like, you guys stop. Like, stop. And they're getting to the point where they have like ripped my shirt off. And like I'm like almost fully exposed at this point. And they're both coming at me. And I'm like, you guys, like, seriously, this isn't funny anymore. And I look to my left where his executive is. Like, we know him pretty well. Like, we've been around him a lot. He's literally 3 feet away from me. Like, if I reached and he reached too, like we could touch. Like, he's that close. And I look and I'm like, hey, like I give that look where I'm just like, come on, like step in. Like, this isn't cool. Like, you're a grown man. Like, you're like 50 years old. I know you have a family. Like, you know this isn't right. Like, do something. And this is the part that for as long as I live, I will never fucking forget. It isn't actually the aspect of being sexually assaulted. That's not what haunts me. It's this. It's as these two grown men were pawing at me, trying to take my clothes off, I look over to this man asking for help, and I literally mouth the word help. And we lock eyes. And he looks away. I'm like, okay. There's 2 more men in the room. And I look to his engineer next, who's sitting right next to him. And I know that he's married and he just had a little baby girl. And I'm like, okay, he's going to do something. And I look at him next and I'm like, okay, like do something, say something, do anything. And he looks down at his phone and starts texting. And then I was like, oh, fuck. I look at Kanye's cousin next and I'm like, do something, like fucking do something. And he spins his chair around.
Oh.
And that's when that like gut-wrenching fear set in.
Okay, so look, you see what this is. You hear the story. People are, this woman is saying, hey, I turned, she goes, it wasn't about being SA'd. And, of course, she later on says that she got away by the skin of her teeth, literally. Okay. But she said what's even more terrifying is that the people that were around them were still allowing this to happen. They turned a blind eye. They looked into their phone, or they spun they spun their chair around. Or when she looked at the security guard just completely ignored the situation. That is some terrifying stuff. Let's be real. Yeah, I get it. You could look at her appearance and sit there and, go in on the appearance thing. And the thing is that still should not deter what this woman allegedly went through. Okay, it's the same story of women who are wearing, clothes that are very revealing, and then they get attacked on the street, okay? Or they're getting attacked from leaving the gym because they were wearing very, very revealing clothing. Okay, they should not be to blame for being attacked in such a vicious way. Same thing with this situation. Even if it was a dude, right, that was wearing the gray pants and all that stuff, shirtless and everything. Still, no matter what, for them to come and tell their story, we should be taking it seriously. Now, we should take it and think critically and independently for ourselves, right? And find out what really went down. And you would hope that these people are actually telling the truth and not saying certain things just to get some attention. But at the same time, we should be respecting and be respectful of what they say. Yes, we can still look at what they have to say with a soft side eye, but at least hear it and then wait to see if any more information comes out. So, you've seen this. I'm not going to play the whole freaking thing, all right? But you get the general idea. Something is for sure very interesting about this particular account and what she experienced. And I'm still wondering if there's ever been anything that has changed, if there's been any updates in regards to this particular case or what she says in this video. Has the FBI or the government reached out to her to see if that she would do any kind of deposition? Has she filed any lawsuits against Diddy or even Kanye? Has she not? Okay. And that's the other thing too. I was just about to ask that, Sandwich. So thank you so much for asking it. I'll say it like you said it. Okay. Did she do a report after this whole situation? Right? Or did she go home and just deal with it herself? Right? The other thing too is she even says, actually, I am going to play a tiny bit more, because she says that she left her manager behind in that room. Her manager was in that room as well, passed out drunk. So it does make you wonder, where is the manager and what happened to that manager? Did she ever file anything against these guys? Or did they leave her alone in that room? Right? Again, I'm kind of curious about that. Let me skip ahead a little bit, because she does this whole talking about lunging in front of them and trying to get away, etc. So let's get to that.
Towards them. They were already drunk off their shit.
Here it
they
is.
were fucked up. So I lunged forward. I stepped forward, and it threw them off balance. They were like, oh, and they stepped back at least 1.5 feet. And the moment that they did, I reached behind my back, I pulled the door, and I slipped out, grabbing my clothes. And I ran across the hall, across this corridor, and I hid inside of an empty studio that was black. And I sat there for 20, 25 minutes, just crying, what the fuck do I do? And I'm texting my manager and she's not answering.
Because she's still in that room, passed out, by the way, her manager.
And eventually, I don't think I'm supposed to say this next part because it could hurt her case, but basically, everything she fucking said is true, basically. Because what I saw next, I fucking saw it. I was the only one who wasn't drugged. I was the only one who didn't drink their drinks, whatever it is. I was the only one. So I saw what happened next and who was involved. And that's why I'm...
Hold on. So she says that, she says in the thing that the manager was left behind because she was running away, right? She was running away. But then she does say later, oh, I don't want to mess up her case. So her her manager clearly filed something against these guys. Okay? Clearly filed something. Okay? And now she's sitting here going here's my testament of what I saw and what I experienced. These guys were trying to come after me, and I got out by the skin of my teeth and by the grace of God, because he told me to go towards them. And so I lunged at them. They went they kind of freaked out because they were really effed up in the head. And then she, opened up the door and she ran, right? They were trying to rip her clothes off, etc. It's all bad.
A part of this lawsuit and named in it. And yeah, it just that, I eventually got us both out and I got us in an Uber, and she obviously didn't remember anything because she was drugged and I wasn't. And apart from the aspect of, looking for help and they turned away, the only other thing that really, really fucks with me is, what about all those other girls that were there? Those 9 other girls who were drinking the drinks before we even got there. I know none of them got out. I know.
Well, they left the room. She said all the girls left the room except for her and her manager, because her manager was like, yo, leave, girls. Leave studio wenches. And they left the studio, the actual room that they were in. Okay. They may have gone down the hallway or something of that sort, going to another studio or something like that. But still, I mean, they could have still been around, you know what I mean? Getting messed up somewhere else.
None of them got saved that night. And I'm like, do they even fucking remember? Do they even know what happened to them? Moral of the fucking story, stay out of the industry. If you have daughters, make sure to tell them that they're idols they should never meet and should never fucking go to the studio with anyone, even if you're invited there as an artist, unless you have a bodyguard with you. You know, I thought I'd feel better after telling that story, but I really don't.
So again, you know, I mean, we've heard countless stories time and time again of people who are sitting there that have gone that were this close, right, to stardom, this close to grabbing the brass ring, only to see the real side of celebrity, the dark side of it all. It can be really, really messed up. It can be really, really sad as well. But again, the thing is apparently the manager is you know, suing or did sue back then. I don't know if anything happened or what came of it, but at the same time, she's sitting there going, I don't want to ruin my manager, you know, I don't want to ruin her case. But she was there. Okay. Again, this is sad. You know what I mean? It's very, very sad. I do have a poll up at the top of the chat. Okay. Let me know. Do you believe her story? Yes or no? Okay. Do you believe her story? Yes or no? CR, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Princetta, thank you so much for the super chat. This is wild. Thank you for keeping people informed. Of course, you know, this is what we're here to do, to talk about things that are going on in the world and then some. Okay. But again, like I said, guys, this just really crazy stuff that's going on. And I wanted to take a little trip down memory lane on that particular case because on that particular story, because that involves not only just Diddy, that involves Kanye West as well. And the thing is if that case or that story is true, then who else could be in trouble? Who else could have been a victim of Diddy and Kanye? You got to remember, this dude showed up to Diddy's trial. He's the only hip hop artist. We didn't see no Jay-Z. We didn't see no Beyonce. We didn't see no Oprah. All the allegations that have been out here, guys, on all the people, they're like, oh, I can't wait to see, you know, Tyler Perry come in and get thrown under the bus. And I can't wait for Oprah and Jay-Z and Beyonce because, you know, they worship the devil. All these crazy things that have been out here, right? People are saying all kinds of crazy stuff for so long. And the only person that is of stature, power, and influence that shows up to his case, his trial, is Kanye West. He's the only one. Why? Why? Jay-Z could have showed up. Beyonce could have strolled in with Jay-Z. Tyler Perry could have shown up. Oprah could have shown up. Leonardo DiCaprio could have shown up. All the people that everybody's saying, oh, they definitely caught on in these freak off tapes. They're all in these freak offs. Okay, every single last one of them, right? None of them showed except for Kanye. Please tell me why only Kanye. And now he's getting hit with more allegations and actually added on other allegations on top of the allegations that one girl has already said. And you know for a fact there's going to be more people coming forward now. Okay, about Kanye. It's bad, y'all. It's very, very bad. Yes, the Carl Winslow story. Oh my God, that was diabolical. Oh my God. Man, everybody's like, you know what I mean? Did I do that? Like, what the hell? Hey, big guy. Remember that stuff? Remember that? Remember the Carl Winslow story? Good God. Good God. They're like, you ain't never seen that man with a woman. You know Carl Winslow, the actor from Family Matters? You ain't never seen him with a woman. You know for a fact he batted for the other team. You feel me? You don't remember the other thing? He was in those freak-offs, baby. You don't remember him being in those freak-offs? He was caught doing he was bumping uglies with Carl Winslow in one of these rooms. I tell you what, like, what the hell is going on, man? So where's all that? You know what I'm saying? Bieber, all of them. Where are they at? None of them are there. But people were riding, grinding on that stuff. Grinding on it. Okay? And the only person that's shown up is Kanye freaking West. And one of the reasons I believe is because he may have been learning from the guru, which is obviously Diddy, about these freak offs. Okay? That's the only way I see it, guys. Real talk, it is the only way I freaking see it. Personally. Okay? Because again, it just seems so strange to me, right? That he would show up, he'd be a part of this stuff. When everybody else has been trying to avoid showing up in solidarity for Diddy. And he's the only person that shows up. That's weird. Okay? That is most definitely weird. Now, here's the thing. We do have another thing I want to share with you guys, okay? Because there's more, okay? There's always more. There's always mother loving more, okay? There is something I did want to share with y'all that has to do with it has to do with Superhead. Now, the only reason why I call her Superhead is because that's what she's been known for in the streets, okay? Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, this particular woman was actually known in the streets as a video vixen, okay? But also as Superhead. Now, just you do the math on what Superhead means, okay? So you do the math. Now, this particular woman who goes by the name of Elizabeth Ovson, okay, now, she wrote a book called Confessions of a Video Vixen. It was a bestseller like crazy, okay? People still reference this book to this day. Even so, they reference this book even more now because of everything that's been going on with the Diddy trial and all that. Okay. This woman exposed a lot of things about the hip hop industry back in the day in this book. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in, you know, some people just don't like to read. Okay. Some people just don't like to pick up a book and doggone put their eyeballs in it and read. So there's a lot of information that was in the book that I think was kind of flown over people's heads, or they read it, they have it in their minds, but nothing was ever done about it. Okay. But she talked about how dark and messed up and just the dark underbelly of the hip hop industry that she was a part of. In fact, she was also told to move around and perform these things, hence the reason why she was called Superhead, for other people to work out deals. She even talks about Irv Gotti and how he would have her go off and have relations with people to make certain deals come true. This is real. This is what she really says in her book, Confessions of a Video Vixen. Now, this book is old now, okay? But it was huge back in the day because she was talking about everybody that was a big name in the hip hop industry, every single one of them, okay? Now, she suddenly is showing up, okay? She's on Piers Morgan. We got to hear this. This one's very interesting. And I'm side-eyeing this conversation. I'm going to say it outright. I'm sorry. I'm side-eyeing this conversation outright. With all due respect, I believe what she wrote in the book is real. I don't think she's making things up, that kind of thing. Okay. But I truly think that what she says in here is very interesting. And you're going to be seeing me pause a lot in this one because I got so many questions about this. Okay. And we're only going to listen to her part. Okay. Because there's other parts that I'm going to probably do as a pop-up video because you got Tony Busby with Vlad TV in the conversation and all that as well. And they're kind of going after each other, which is crazy. But this, yeah, she is like she is the, Naldo, perfect example. If you don't know who Brittany Renner is, okay, she is before Brittany Renner was Brittany Renner. Okay, like she is somebody who has been out here doing her thing. Okay, beautiful woman. She knows it, and would just, she was very free, for lack of a better word. She was very promiscuous. Okay, and would have relations with a lot of names, a lot of stars. Okay, in the game back then. Okay, so yeah, she is like the OG of that. And that's why her name, or she donned the nickname Superhead. Remember that. Now, there's some stuff here that's very interesting. We got to take a look at this. I got so many questions, but let's just rock and roll. Piers Morgan brings her on to talk about Diddy and her relations and her reactions to his loss, or to his verdict, to her relationship with him in the past. It's very interesting. Take a very close listen to this.
Elizabeth, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of people are kind of aware of your history with Diddy, but for those who know nothing about it, how would you categorize your time with him?
My time with Sean was honestly pleasant in the beginning. To my recollection, the first time we met, we spent the night together. But he was a consummate gentleman with me in that evening, again, to my recollection. And
I'm going to run that back one more time. Take a listen to what she just said right out the gate.
But he was a consummate gentleman with me in that evening, again, to my recollection.
We're not done yet.
And every other time I saw him after that was in a group setting, so it was fine. The last time I saw him, however, things had taken a bit of a turn. It was after Confessions of a Video Vixen, my first book had been published, and he was seething when he saw me Prince had a party at his house, and we were there, of course, before Prince died, and he was scowling at me the whole night, and I found it amusing, but he was obviously very angry with me by that point in our relationship.
Why was he so angry with you?
Well, 4 months before Confessions was published in 2005, we got a call from Sean's attorney. My attorney did. And Sean's attorney wanted to see the book before the book came out. Confessions of a Video Vixen was an embargoed book, so no one could see it. No one would even get it until the publication date, which is June 5th of that year. And so my attorney told his attorney that he could not get the book and that they would have to wait until the book came out like everyone else. And
I want you guys to understand that this book was so hot back then, okay? This book was so fire hot back then that everybody and their mama wanted a piece of this book, okay? Everybody, because she was exposing so much. This was a hot book, okay? The Black community at that time was losing their doggone minds, their rabid minds over this book. It was a mother-loving page-turner, okay?
If they saw a problem in the book, that they were free to reach back out to us, sue us, whatever they felt was necessary. We knew that wouldn't happen because HarperCollins is the publisher of that book, as you know, is a News Corp entity, and those attorneys made sure it was vetted to the fullest so Sean could never sue, he could never raise any objection to it. And I think he always hated me after that because I left enough. I posed questions in that book that that I think sent certain people down the direction that leads us to where we are now.
Now, I want you to know, first off, HarperCollins is a huge publishing company, okay? Huge. The fact that she got this in the hands of that publishing company is a big deal. But obviously, you already know the end result. The book is a big book. It's a big book. Okay. Even Christina is saying in the chat, I'm gonna say, read the book, y'all. Yeah. If you could get your hands on it, read the book. And I'm telling you right now, this is her pushing for the book to have a resurgence of sales again. Wait for it, because she's talking about right here. Okay, she's talking about it for show. But again, that book, big time book. And let's be real, she does not paint herself as an angel in the book. Okay, she dirty. Okay, grimy as hell. Okay, so she doesn't paint herself as like the heroine of the heroine. I'm sorry, of the show. Okay, she says, hey, I did some things. I did a lot of things. All right, so very interesting stuff. Okay, but let's continue.
Just explain that a little more. What were the questions you think that you're talking about?
Well, honestly, I'm just now getting context on a lot of the questions that I had then. After the trial gave me way more context. But just about, I think, his sexual proclivities, and what we saw in hanging out with him, the kind of clubs he took us to, even conversations he and I had. One in particular where I didn't understand it at the time. And honestly, Piers, I'm getting new understanding about this line of questioning. I wrote about this in Confessions, where my boyfriend and I at the time had gone to his home for New Year's Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve kind of festivities. And he pulled me to the side and was just like, we're friends, right? We're friends. And I was like, yeah, we're friends. And like, we're good. And I'm like, yeah, we're good. And I couldn't figure out what he meant. And I wrote about this where I didn't know what he was talking about. And he just kind of went on to say, I have kids, I have a mom, and if anything got out, it would really hurt them. And I honestly, at that point in stage, did not know or remember what he was talking about. And so we just kind of laughed it off. Like, what's going on with him? And things that he said to my boyfriend, like, don't trust her. She might have her on video with, in precarious positions. And this is back before cell phone cameras. So I was just like, what video? I didn't understand any of it.
Now I can understand how some of this is all coming back to her and going, oh, that's what she mean. That's what he meant by those things. I get that piece, right? But at the same time, it gets interesting near the end here. So let's continue.
Now, after the trial and the things that have come out from the trial, this gives these conversations a lot more context. But at the time when Confessions came out, it did make us all wonder, what was he so afraid of? I didn't even know what I had seen or didn't see, or if there's something happened that I didn't remember from our time together. But he was very afraid that I would say something in the book. And honestly, I think he never contacted us back because what he thought I was going to say, I did not say, possibly because I didn't remember it.
What do you think he was fearful of you saying?
I have to be honest, Piers, in booking this time with you today, and your producer asked me to kind of send over some pages from the book. I hadn't read Confessions since I wrote it, and I read it for the audio version, and that was 2005. It's been 20 years since I've read this book. And in reading what I sent over, which is what I just described to you right now, I wonder a lot of things. He was so afraid that I knew something. And I was confused because the only time that we had together prior to this conversation was alone time at his home, wherein I felt we had a good time. I didn't know, he didn't come on to me. It was very platonic, I thought. So I was confused as to what was it? And so I have to admit, my mind kind of races now that I have more context of his proclivities and what he's capable of. what he was so afraid of, what he thought I knew, or what he thought I remembered.
I mean, in the book, you talk about the first time you met Diddy in a nightclub at 3 a.m. You said, right there in front of me, Diddy and Gotti, who was the Murder Inc. Records boss, Irv Gotti.
Here we go.
Made arrangements to send me to Diddy's house in 1 hour. It was 4 a.m. I turned up to Diddy's home in my SUV. There were security guards in the driveway, all dressed in dark suits with their hands in front of them. They had been expecting me. The things that went on when Gotti and I were together are almost unimaginable to me now. But in the haze of drugs and liquor, it all seemed all right. I was being used over and over again, man after man, all friends and acquaintances of Gotti's.
You heard that, right? First off, that's crazy, because it's the same kind of breakdown that Jane Doe or even Cassie could say. You know, it seemed okay at the time because it was just a whole bunch of liquor and substances flying left and right. So yeah, you know, it's cool. But in hindsight, when you look at it from beyond, right? When you take yourself out of the situation, it's like, yo, this was crazy. This was totally crazy. And I, you know, in my sober mind, would I put myself in this kind of situation, right? So again, this is nuts, right?
I quickly became Gotti's showpiece. He would turn other people in the industry onto me. I was his party favor. Whenever there was anyone Gotti wanted to impress, he would send them to me and I'd take care of them.
Yo. Like, see what I'm saying? And this is just from her book, right? So imagine what she really went through. And that's the other thing too. You know, we're going to hear something here in a second, because I'm going to let her say her piece on here. But see, she kind of like, there was a moment there where she was just like talking in circles that I didn't really enjoy. Okay. No, not John Gotti, Irv Gotti, guys. Irv Gotti. That she was just kind of talking in circles that made no earthly sense. And I think maybe she's nervous as well. But at the same time, it is true. This is a book that she circled back and read for an audio book in 2005. So 20 years. I mean, that's a long time, right? And the stuff that she went through, whether it was trauma or if it was consensual, is still an experience that she went through. You got to remember, just because somebody didn't go, just because it's not considered trauma, does not automatically mean that that person can't look back and go, damn, I shouldn't have done that. Think about that for a second. I'm not sitting here saying that we'll see what she says later on in this interview. But what I'm trying to say is like, it's like, man, I shouldn't have drank that much that night. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. It was all by my choice and by my own hand. But, maybe I shouldn't have drank that much, or man, I shouldn't have done that one thing that I did. You know what I mean? You could still have regret, right? You could still feel a semblance of over something that you did consensually, right? It's like, oh, I shouldn't have slept with that guy. Shouldn't have slept with that girl, so on and so forth, right? You could still have those moments of just straight up regret. Those things happen. Plenty of people have done things in their past that they wish they didn't do. Come on now, right? Doesn't automatically mean trauma or needs to be, or it doesn't automatically mean that someone needs to be pointed at a blame to, right? Not everything has to be a lawsuit. Not everything has to be, lock him up and throw away the key. Sometimes it could just be like, I made some really dumb choices and I regret those dumb choices because they were really bad and dumb. But I made those choices on my own, right? That is still possible here, guys. So again, what she's going through, maybe what she's going through in her mind is like, damn, I can't believe I did that. But I did it. And I wrote a book about it and made crap tons of money talking about my experiences, right? But she can still have regret. That's still possible, y'all.
I mean, could it be that what Sean Combs was worried about was that he facilitated this very transactional relationship that you had with Irv Gotti? Is that part of this?
I don't think that was it. And honestly, I think it was more insidious than that. The fear, the fright that he had during that conversation at his Miami home, back in whatever year that was, he seemed terrified that I had known something. And I just don't know what he thought I knew or remembered. The transactional nature of how we met, and which is why, I said in various interviews before that I was gifted to him, it was because no one asked me if I wanted to go. No one asked me. They talked about me as if I wasn't there. I was property to cart around. And that's what they did. If they would have asked me, I still would have gone. So I didn't hold any objection at the time because I would have still done it. Being 21 and it's Diddy and we're having fun and it's just a Saturday night out in LA.
Crazy, right? There's more. I mean, she's sitting there going, it would have been still consensual, but I was still made to go and do these things. I was still asked to go over and perform. And, it was a transactional relationship. That's how I was introduced to Diddy. That's insane that she was moved over there, basically ST'd, okay, to go and perform for the diddler. She has nothing. She has no skin in the game, guys, okay? Except maybe to promote her book. Like I said, a new resurgence. Maybe this book will become a bestseller all over again, right? Because everyone wants to take a trip down memory lane again. Superhead from the late 90s, early 2000s. Maybe that's what it is, right? But at the same time, she ain't got no skin in the game. But there's some parts here that are very interesting. Get ready for it.
At all, then.
And I'm going to change the speed a little bit, guys.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you actually have any kind of sexual relationship with Diddy at all?
This part.
No, Diddy and I did not know. Well,
I was going to say.
Not to my knowledge.
What? What? So this is the part where I'm like, oh, no. Is she alluding to something? Could this turn into a book? Is this another book coming? Or could she actually be wanting to do a lawsuit? I don't know, but yeesh, she's now she doesn't remember if she had relations with the dude or not.
So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, please explain.
Not to my knowledge. I don't. Honestly, I'm questioning a lot of things right now.
I have to hit the button again. You hear what she just said? Hold on. I'm going to just one more time.
A sexual relationship with Diddy at all?
No, Diddy and I did not know. Well, not to my knowledge.
So what do you mean by that?
Not to my knowledge. I don't. Honestly, I'm questioning a lot of things right now.
So again, but here's the thing. Some people could look at that and go, what does that mean? Oh, she just trying to get on that Diddy money train, right? Or could she be working on writing a new book? I'm just asking the questions that people are saying out here in these streets. People are now looking at that going, wait a second. Yeah, like she was too zooted, too under the influence to recall. Could this be borderline being plied with stuff against her will? But then she says she went over there willingly. It was consensual. But then she says this, it's different. Hold on.
Not to my knowledge. I don't. Honestly, I'm questioning a lot of things right now.
What you think?
Not to my knowledge. No, I don't think anything right now. Just not to my knowledge, because honestly.
That's a very strange response, though, to not remember whether you did or not.
Yeah, that is a very strange response. And also, I see this as an opportunity for her to, it almost seems like her wheels are turning. You know what I mean? I'm just, like I said, and yeah, Piers Morgan is like, yo, that is the strangest response. We just asked you a question straight ahead, Superhead. All you got to do is answer the question. And now you're saying something different. That's weird. But then at the same time, it does feel like, I don't know, some part of me feels like some wheel is turning in her head, and it could be like another book or more money. However that money will materialize into her pockets, I don't know, right?
Yeah, isn't it? It is. Yeah, it is. Because honestly, Piers, before I went through my text, again, I hadn't read Confessions in 20 years. I wrote it. It was painful to write. So I never wanted to re-traumatize myself and go through those years again. And think about this, I'm a middle-aged woman at this point. I don't want to go back into my 20s and see what happened. But in gathering information for this interview here, reading that passage again for the first time in 20 years, I questioned a lot of things, like, well, why was he so afraid? And why did he try to, make my boyfriend feel as if I wasn't trustworthy? And
do you think he took advantage of you when you were under the influence of alcohol and drugs?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
But do you fear that's the case now from everything you've read?
Honestly, yes. Given the context, now that I know, because again, I never knew any of these things about him before. So the things that I learned in the trial, I did not know. I never saw that side of him. I did not know. I never understood. And again, in 2005, when I published Confessions, it says I didn't understand why he was so fearful of me, because our time together was pleasant. And I was like, wait, what is he so afraid of? What does he not want me to tell? I didn't see anything at that point. At that point, I hadn't seen anything. At that point, we had, I thought, just a friendly, platonic night together. So I was confused then. And 20 years later, I'm confused now. So to my knowledge, I've never had sex with Sean Combs. We never had that kind of relationship.
But you can't be sure.
Given what we know now, I can't be sure.
And how does that?
No, I mean, I don't think that she's lying. I just think that her wheels are turning. That's what I think. Like my miracle mama. Yes, I'm being nice. I'm not just going in scorched earth on her. I just think that she's maybe thinking of a sequel to the Video Vixen saga, but maybe it's centered solely around Diddy. She's like, I open up the notes, I open up the book, I haven't touched those things in so long that maybe she's like, live on the show, suddenly thinking like, maybe there is another book. Maybe there is something. You know what I mean? Maybe there is something. Like I said, I think this is interesting, right? I think that's interesting.
I was confused then, and 20 years later, I'm confused now. So to my knowledge, I've never had sex with Sean Combs. We never had that kind of relationship.
So she doesn't remember if they had relations or not. But then here's the thing. She says that she has had pleasant moments with him in the past. There was a transactional relationship, and that's how she met him in the first place. So what is it? Did she have relations with the guy or not? That doesn't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's still possible that maybe first time she met him was, there was something, sexual going on. But then later on, maybe she doesn't remember because he kept plying her with substances. Maybe that's the case. But it is a very interesting thing that she's saying right now on this show live with Piers Morgan. Let's continue. Ain't nobody shaming nobody, okay? Hold on, okay? But it just seems a little bit weird that she would say, what she's saying right now. I thought she said everything she had to say in the book, right? But I could see her going, yeah, Guided April. I could see it being like Video Vixen after Diddy trial. You know what I mean? My time with the diddler, Video Vixen. You know what I'm saying? I just see in her mind, ooh, there's something here. There's something to cook, and you know what I mean? And it could be a very spicy meatball. Maybe.
But you can't be sure.
Given what we know now, I can't be sure.
And how does that make you feel?
And that saddens me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
It saddens me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, during this entire process, I've been shying away from publicity and just letting the trial unfold. I knew things from just being around and people talking, but I didn't know what was going to come out. There's a few things that I saw that without context were strange to me, but I didn't understand them until the trial. And so I've been quiet this whole time, and I disappeared off of social. I just disappeared for the past year waiting for this thing to unfold. In the unfolding of what I believe to be facts, and definitely the testimonies of Cassie and Jane and even some of the men, and then looking back at the text, I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, when he said, if anything got out, and I'm like, and I remember at the time being so confused, like anything like what got out? Like nothing happened. We hung out, you were kind. At some point I went to sleep. I don't know when, but I woke up and then we had breakfast and you were kind and I left. Nothing happened. I don't know, Piers. I feel, and just in the last 24 hours, I question what I thought I knew about my time with him.
You detailed in your books romantic relationships with a lot of famous people from that world: Jay-Z, DMX, Van Diesel, Lil Wayne, Method Man, even Bill Maher, LL Cool J, Mr. Carl, and others. You had a lot of famous guys you dated. And who knows what the nature of what happened with Diddy was about. But do you feel that this whole world has now changed irrevocably as a result of what happened to Diddy?
No, because nothing has happened to Diddy. Nothing has.
She ain't wrong with that. He definitely got away. He definitely got away with a lot. All right.
Happened to Sean at all. What has happened here is that here's the deal. It's not a Diddy issue. Like, Diddy is a problem, but he's not the problem. Okay, he's not the problem. From Cosby to Combs, Weinstein to Epstein, and everything in between, they're all different tentacles of the same beast. And this is a story as old as time. The abuses of men, men in power, especially men with money. And I think it only increases over time as women become more free and more liberated, being able to make our own money, being able to, buy our own homes, being able to start our own businesses. I think it only enrages the men who hold power that they're losing power. And so I felt that over time, in my experience over the last 20 something years that I've been in this town, that the men are increasingly more aggressive and more so wanting to keep women under control and in power because they are losing power, even legally so. I don't think that the Diddy trial has changed anything other than it probably fuels this issue more than anything, because here's the deal. Two of the toughest charges have been dropped. He's facing up to 20 with time served. Yeah, he's denied bail, but how much time is he really going to get? Probably maybe 3 years, might be out on probation, might have to wear an ankle bracelet like Martha Stewart, and everything's going to be fine. And then what happens is that no one's paying attention to the fact that there are a lot of men who aren't saying anything, who are very quiet, as well as men especially, and women who are supporting him. And I fear, even with everything that we've heard, let's say none of that was true. We saw something, however, that tells us something about this person. We saw a videotape of him brutalizing Cassie, and that tells me everything I need to know about this person's character. So even if nothing else was true, that alone is enough reason for him to be canceled indefinitely. But I fear that's not what's going to happen. I think this is just emboldening more men to do the same thing, because guess what they're going to do? They're going to get away with it. There are men in this industry who have left this country, who are now living on islands and in different countries, to escape persecution from things like this. There are men that I know personally who are involved in this, who have done things similar to this, who have parties like this. Diddy's not the only one. This is not a Sean Combs problem. This is a societal community issue here in this town. And it's not just the artists. It's also their attorneys, their publicists. It's the hotels. I was brutalized in a hotel, and guess what happened? That tape disappeared. When I went to get my police report from the police station, it was destroyed, all within 48 hours, to protect the person who had brutalized me. It is systemic. So it doesn't matter, if Diddy gets off or not, in the sense that it won't stop anything. I think if anything, it makes it all worse.
Yeah. Sorry, I needed to let her cook on that because she has a good point. Super good points there. Here's the thing. I think we also live in a time, in an era now where this is, we live in a very interesting time. And again, I think what she said here is very, very true. Diddy's going to get out in a couple years, and it's going to be, and everyone's going to move on. Yeah, he might be looked at in a certain way. Some people are going to side-eye him. Some people, there's still going to be the when they see him, that kind of thing. But there's still going to be a certain portion of the world that's going to hoist him on their shoulders and still champion and cheerlead him on, for real. Okay, he's still going to be loved. He's still going to be respected. He's not going to be looked at like some sort of pariah. I do think that he will be a walking lawsuit waiting to happen every single moment he makes a wrong turn or a bad experience. There will be cameras all up in his face, exposing him and showing how terrible of a guy he is. But at the end of the day, people will still be willing to support him and watch his stuff and eat up what he does. Look at the likes of like Mel Gibson, Chris Brown, for example. I mean, Chris Brown did that terrible thing, and he's still out here making music. Real talk. He's still performing. He's still, looked at as one of the greatest entertainers, okay, of our generation, right? So again, yeah, he's getting the slap on the wrist, but that's about it, right? She's not wrong with the whole, this is systemic, this is, this is just a tale as old as time, because it very well is. It very much is, guys. There's still other guys that are involved in things like this, in this type of behavior. This is not going to stop them. It just keeps them doing what they're doing. Now, do I think that it's going to stop it? Do I think that it's they just are going to go even harder? No, they're going to find other ways to do it in a more indiscreet manner. That's all it is. One thing I do want to say, and I want to make this abundantly clear, I'm not knocking anybody in the S industry. Okay, S workers and all that. If that's how you make your money, do your thing. Okay, just make sure you're ahead of the game. Okay, that's what I truly think. All right. Do I want, my loved ones to go into the S working game? Hell no. But if that's the choice that somebody wants to make, please be safe. Don't get yourself in trouble and stay away from the powder. Okay. But here's the thing. All right. I think we have a problem here, especially when we live in the world of the OFs and the like the sugar babies and the sugar daddies and all that stuff. I think that there's so much of gray that is a huge problem, okay? Because there's girls out here, they're young, even men, I will say this too, even men that get into this game thinking that, get into like, start becoming friendly or cozy with some sort of celebrity, or they're working with people that are in the industry, and they think that, this is just how it is, right? Or they say, okay, I'm cool with this in the very beginning, only for it to backfire at them, right? Because at first they're like, okay, I'm fine with this, right? I'm cool with it because I'm still with Diddy. I'm still with these big names. You know what I mean? I'm still with the Hollywood elite, until the moment where they go, wait a second, this isn't cool anymore. No, I'm not cool with this. I'm not an S worker. I'm a human being that doesn't want to do this. There are human beings that want to do that and enjoy that and know what the transaction is, know what the breakdown is. But for me, I didn't sign up for that. I want to be an actor, or I want to be a screenwriter, or I want to be a model. I don't want to do this. I want to be a singer. I want to be on Broadway, right? I didn't know this was going to be like this. Holy crap. Hold on. This is insane, right? Some people, real talk, I think get sucked into this world, okay, unbeknownst to them, and then suddenly, next thing you know, they pick their head up and they're like in a sea of bodies, and they're like, wait a second, how did I get here? Why am I even in this room? This is not me. This is not what I do. You see what I'm saying? And this is regular, everyday folks that are not thinking that their world or their life is going to be a P-star, or, you know what I mean, or be an S worker of some sort. These are just regular, everyday people that are only thinking about the career that they want to obtain. And suddenly they're getting thrown in to the world of S work unbeknownst to them. I think that that's one of the big things that has caused quite a rift and quite a problem in that courtroom with Diddy. Because if you really think about it, if these were S workers and he only hired S workers, there would be no lawsuits. There would be no feds going after him with the Jane Doe or the Cassie. There would be no Cassie. There would be no Jane Doe. You see what I'm saying? They would just be bringing in like cinnamon and cocoa and lavender with the Punisher and the Rico and the Chef and the Sly. You see what I'm saying? There wouldn't be so much gray. It'd be like, okay, he was hiring these people in. They were flying across state lines. They get paid to do their hibbity dibbity, and they moved on. So, yep, that is pros, and that's some STing there. Okay, and yeah, he was plying them with substances. There's no gray in here because this is black and white. It's all transactional, right? It's all a transaction. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But when you throw in the Jane Doe situation, or you throw in something like a Cassie, where you have a young person going, hey, oh, wow, I'm working with the likes of Diddy. I signed a major deal with him. Oh, my God, I can't wait. I'm falling in love with him. He is showering me with gifts. He's love bombing the F out of me. And now I'm in a sea of bodies with a whole bunch of men. And what is going on? What happened? How did this happen? Holy crap. I'm a singer. I'm a model. And hope to be an actress. What am I doing in here? What's going on here? And I think that that's the problem. I think we live in a weird world where the sexual revolution has already been here and gone, right? But there is a new thing, right? That women should be allowed to have their own freedom, actually, right? They should have their own spicy freedom. But I agree, they should be able to do what they want to do. But at the same time, because we live in this world where everything is such a money-based thing and everything's so transactional, there's so much gray that at one point it could turn into someone saying that they're saying that they're cool with it, and the next minute they're not. It can definitely be that way. And unfortunately, when you take that situation into the world of the courtroom, it's not so black and white. Then it's trying to show proof of said transaction. You see what I'm saying? I think that we live in a very interesting world, especially with the OFs, especially with this new wave. Well, it's not really a new wave, but it's the new approach to men or women with money with other people and how they treat those particular people. You see what I'm saying? I think that it just gets a little strange. And I think some people are thinking that, I'm getting taken care of. All I have to do is X, Y, and Z, only to find out that later on down the line, you're doing more than just X, Y, and Z. You're doing the whole freaking alphabet, for crying out loud. And you don't realize that you're doing the whole alphabet until it's too late. And then you wonder, just like what we are seeing in this courtroom, is it justifiable to throw charges at somebody in a situation like that? And we just saw that no, it's not. We just saw that in court. Let's be real. And that's crazy because, again, there are going to be men and women out here, rich men and rich and powerful women are going to be using this forever. This same approach. There's plenty of people, aside from Diddy, that go up to a woman like, say, like Elizabeth, okay, and say, hey, I need you to set up and do this, that, and the third. I'll make sure you got your rent paid. I'll take care of your car. Your car note will be taken care of. You'll be dripping in nothing but the best type of threads. You'll have the roof over your head. You'll have the cell phone taken care of. I'll take care of everything. All I need you to do is do what I ask you to do, and I need you to show up looking fire every time. Those types of understandings and that type of transactions, those types of transactions still exist to this very day, y'all. To this very freaking day. And again, there's plenty of people out here that are going, I'm sure now, are literally going, men and women who are in this type of relationship like Diddy has had in the past and currently with Jane Doe, for a fact there are people out here going, well, I'm doing all this stuff that I don't want to do. Does that constitute as coercion? Does that constitute as SA? Does that constitute as S trafficking? Does that constitute as pro? That question was not answered in the Diddy trial. And I'm hoping, and I was hoping that was going to be something that was going to be answered in the Diddy trial. But unfortunately, it was not. He got away by the skin of his teeth, by the way, on the STing and the racketeering. And what Elizabeth said just a second ago, she's 110% right. It's a tale as old as time. The only thing is that they change the narrative just by one word at a time. Every single time somebody gets caught doing something like this, they just change the narrative. They just change instead of it saying they, it says something else, right? They change the pronouns or they change it from past tense to whatever, you know what I mean? Present tense, you know what I mean? They do whatever they can to move the goalpost. so that those other higher ups don't get in trouble. What about the likes of Mike Jeffries, right? I like girls that wear Abercrombie and Fitch. What about him? What about that mother lover, right? He had his own fair share of freak offs. They were just filled with men. Young, impressionable, male model hopefuls. A lot of those men, a lot of those models, probably straight, but were forced to do certain things to make things happen for themselves so that they can be on the front page of some ad or be on the billboards of these ads, so on and so forth, right? Like I said, the likes of Mike Jeffries, the Epsteins, the Weinsteinis, the Diddys, the R. Kellys, they are still out there. They are still doing their thing for show. The only thing is they're still hiding in plain sight, y'all. Because that trial didn't do anything for victims. It did not. It didn't. It just showed and told the people that are out there doing this bad, all it did was tell those people, yo, you got to change it up, bro. Sorry, y'all, but you got to change it up now. You can't do it so out there in front of everybody anymore. You can't change. You can't just use a fake name to go into this hotel room anymore. Okay, you can't do this, and this anymore. You're just gonna have to change the way you move and operate out here in these streets. Okay, you got to be a little bit more discreet, and that's exactly what's going on. Real talk. It's sad. It's very, very sad. Christina, thank you so much. Okay, so you and I have read the book. She drops names or a good enough description where you know who she's talking about. Absolutely. And I do think a new book is coming. I really do think she's sitting there. Like I said, you see it in her face when she's talking. She's like, well, I'm still processing it. And it's just how she raises her eyebrow. Even in that still right there. It almost seems like she's like, oh, I got another book. I think I have another book in me. Holy crap. I got another book. You don't think she's going to do that? She's got another book. That's all she's like, I'm still processing it. And, I didn't realize I was going through certain things until I just realized that I was going through those things right now. And it's like, oh, snap. She's realizing she's got a book in her. Now, is that 100%? Don't know. Right. I'm not sitting here saying that she's, 100% a victim either. But all I'm saying is that she is most definitely saying that she's seeing potentially a book for sure. Okay. She is definitely seeing a book. Hold on 1 second, guys. Golly. 1 second, guys. I'm still here, guys. All right, let's try this again. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay. So I was going to be wrapping up anyway, but the computer has just been tripping. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. I might have to get maybe a new video card or something like, I don't know. Something weird is going on. It's very frustrating, but it is what it is. But, of course, what say you? Let me know your thoughts. You know what I mean? I'm going to close this tab because this was about the Nikki Heaton thing. And I tell you, 71% of you guys still do believe her story, the Nikki Heaton account of what she saw, what she experienced. I mean, she got away by the skin of her teeth too, which is absolutely crazy. You know what I mean? My Miracle Mama said, why shouldn't she write another book about her story? It's her story. And if more is revealed to her, then why not? Oh, absolutely. I'm just saying you could tell. Okay. I don't know what's going on, but I will say this. Okay. If she wants to write another book, that's the vibe I was getting. If she wants to write another book, so be it. Let her write a book. But at the same time, it's just interesting that you see it processing in her mind. I think people need to relax a little bit because, of course, I'm just reading it like I see it. You know what I mean? I see the look on her face. I see her react. It's not a thing of like trying to punch down or make this woman feel like something. I'm not trying to shame her or anything of that sort. I'm just seeing that the process, the wheels are turning. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see a book coming out very, very soon. That's not shaming anybody. If she wants to write a book, she can write a book. If she doesn't want to write a book, she doesn't have to write a book. That is on her. Let her do her. Okay. And we will find out if she writes a book, right? There's plenty of other people that are going to be writing a book. Okay. Even jurors, I'm sure. Even that alternate juror that's been out here, Jorge, however he calls himself. I'm sure he's going to be writing a book too. Not shaming him either. If they want to write a book, hey, make your money, boo-boo. Do you, right? Sorry, got heated, but I fear people will excuse criminal behavior because she asked for it somehow. Peace to you, Pascal, always. Yeah, like I said, I'm not, here it is. I'm not saying at all that any of these women ever asked for it. And even so, even with this woman here, Elizabeth, I guess she's going by Elizabeth now. Okay. I would never sit here and be like, oh yeah, she asked for it. No, hell no. But there are very interesting things that she is saying in the conversation that, of course, thanks again for the super chat again. But like I said, I think that there's something here that obviously you can see from space. Wheels are turning. Maybe it's a foreshadowing of something else in the very, very near future. But at the same time, I'm not shaming anybody. Hell no. I'm just calling it like I see it. And rightfully so. And respectfully so. You know what I mean? I think it is interesting that she doesn't remember having relations with Diddy, yet she did say she spent the night with him. Now, like I said, that could mean she just spent the night with him, like hung out with him for the night, but that also could mean spending the night, like meaning spending the night. You feel me? So again, the fact that she's like, I'm processing a lot of things right now. I'm not taking that away from her. I'm not discrediting her. I just see another book coming very, very soon. That's all. Okay. That is all. No need to it's all good. I love you too. Okay. But like I said, we're not here to do any of that, but we're here to ask questions and we have every right to do so. Okay. But that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It means a lot. And yeah, Didi, that's the other thing. Maybe she's alluding to the fact that maybe she was put under the influence of something. That's possible as well. Anything's possible with that too. Like I said, let's see if she writes a book, or let's see if she does another interview. Maybe somebody else will bring her on to ask those pressing and burning questions, and she'll be able to talk about it more, right? But she does talk about in the book being in an environment filled with nothing but liquor and substances. She even says it in the book. So maybe that's part of it too, right? So again, very interesting. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the conversation. Okay. Again, please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Please and thank you. That'll be greatly appreciated. Crush it. Do what it do. If you're watching on other platforms like Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Rumble, Kick. I got to think about it sometimes. There's so many. Make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well. Okay? Please and thank you. Subscribe. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to both channels. Hit that notification bell. Set them both to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And check out, of course, PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys? But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. I appreciate y'all. And I'll be talking to you guys very soon. Stay up, everybody. Much love. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.